Hello beautiful people, schöne Leute. Welcome back to my channel guys, and another of my recap of the 90-day fiance before the 90 days, season 3, episode 9, and the title is Out of the Blue. So I'll start off with Caesar guys, yeah? So Caesar is on the beautiful beaches of Mexico, and he's unable to enjoy his last day in Mexico because as he said, his life is over. According to Caesar, he's been trying to reach Maria. He's been calling her, he's been texting her, and she's not responding whatsoever. So we see Caesar in his hotel packing his bags, to go and catch his flight, and he's packing all the edible underwears, unused edible underwears that he had brought with him to Mexico. And yeah, he's packing his bag, and he has to face everybody back home to explain to them and confirm to everybody what an idiot he is. And he's not really looking forward to that. So Caesar is still reaching out to Maria this whole time. No response. It's like dead air. So you know what Caesar decides to do? Guess what? Let me give you a second to guess. Guess what Caesar decides to do? He decides that when he goes back to the USA, yeah, he's going to save up his money and go to the Ukraine to try and visit Maria and to convince her to take him back. Now, if that's not the best idea ever. So it looks like Caesar isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Just when we thought this stupidness was finished and over with, yeah, it looks like we're going to have to see him another episode. The next couple is Rebecca and Syed. So Rebecca is driving Syed, as she's always been doing this whole trip, to go and visit his sister. He's in the car eating something and he's throwing it through the windows, and she's like, don't throw things through the windows, don't litter the place. And he's like, yeah, she's like, no, you can't do that in the US. Yeah, it's not allowed, it's illegal, and you'll get in problems for it. So he needs to practice from now, yeah, to live in the US and not litter. So yeah, she's taking him to go and visit his sister, and they stop, she drops him off somewhere, and then he's like, baby, do you have any money? And she's like, yeah, how much do you need? So she takes out her purse and she starts digging in for some money, and he's there digging in with her. How much do you need? And he's like, 500 dinar. And she's like, okay. And she gives him the 500 dinar. And then after he goes off, she's there, questioning, 500 dinar, that's a lot of money. He's never asked me for that much money at one time before. Yeah, and she's like, 500 dinar, that's like $200 US. That's a lot of money. And when she's saying that, I'm thinking to myself, $200 US? That's not a lot of money. Yeah, because and then I start doing which I always do, I start doing my exchange calculation from when I'm back in Jamaica, and what $200 US would be is probably like 27,000 Jamaican dollars, which sounds like a lot, but honestly, it's really not that much money. You could go to the supermarket and buy a week's grocery with that, depending if you have like a 2-person family, or in my case, me and my son, or even me, my mom, and my son, yeah. $27,000, that's kind of like some people's supermarket shopping for the week, not even the month, yeah? I'm just saying, if you're trying to eat healthy and you're trying to, there are certain things that you eat, that's just an example. It's really not that much money. But anyways, that's not the point. For Rebecca, she says that's a lot of money, and I don't know what the cost of living is in Lebanon, but hey. So, she starts questioning, she's like, why is he asking for so much money? What does he need it to do? And she's like, her fear starts boiling up. So she gets, when he comes back, she's like, hey, why did you ask for so much money? What do you need it to do? So, of course, I guess he didn't expect that. So he's, kind of caught off guard. He's like, wait. And he has his hand behind his back like a little child, shuffling around, something? I'm going to do something. So Rebecca is like, okay, that's strange. So she's walking off. As he's walking off, she makes some kind of mumble, and I think he overhears. And yeah. So next scene, we see Rebecca sitting down in this place, like a pub or maybe a restaurant, and she's like, her face is the longest. Her face is so long, and she's there. It's like all her fears start coming back. She's having flashbacks yeah, to our previous relationship. Apparently, he's like, why would he ask for 500 dinar? That's a lot of money. It's like $200. I hope he's not playing me like my ex, because apparently her ex from Tunisia used to, when she brought him over to the US, he stayed at home and he didn't really do anything. All he did was took her money while she was working, and he did a number of things with it. And she alludes that apparently maybe he cheated on her or something as well. Ring for Rebecca. So that's the big surprise. He's thinking of getting Rebecca an engagement ring, while Rebecca is there bothering her head and questioning everything. And as far as I'm concerned, Rebecca needs to just cool herself. Yeah, she's a 40-year-old woman dating a 20-year-old guy. It's a part of the deal. Yeah, he needs the money. He's not working, or whatever his situation is, and she's older, with more funds. Yeah, and this is something she should expect, because if an older guy is dating a younger woman, yeah, it is expected that, well, okay, I know some people are going to argue about this and say, you need to have your own money and whatever. Yeah, but if you're an older person dating a much younger woman, yeah, more than likely the guy is expected at that age to have sorted his life out and to have accomplished some things and have the money. Yeah, and if you're dating somebody that young and more than likely attractive, that's a part of the package. So I don't know why Rebecca, she needs to just accept it, as far as I'm concerned, and stop complaining about everything. Just hand the man the money. Just give him the money. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. So anyways, he's there trying to get her an engagement ring with his sister, and they're in the shop, and the sister is like, so yeah, she said, according to the sister, she's still not too keen on this whole relationship and him going overseas and leaving them and getting married to Rebecca. She's still not a fan of it, but she's just trying to support him because he's her only brother. He's her only brother, and he asks her for help. So he's there and he's telling the sister that he got the money from Rebecca, and the sister's like, oh wow, you really took her money? Don't you feel a way about taking money from her? This is just the start of it. Yeah. And she's telling us that this is telling her that he's not ready for this relationship, because he's not in a position to even take care of her or fulfill his responsibilities. He's using the woman's money to buy her own engagement ring. If women want to date a younger man, yeah, which is typically what older men do, there are certain things that come along with it that you need to expect, and just not cry and wail about the whole thing. It is what it is. So anyways, he goes back, they got her this ring, because apparently the sister is saying, I don't think you still don't think you have enough money. So he got Rebecca this silver ring, which was cute, yeah. He's going back with the ring because he plans on proposing to her. So he's at the restaurant. He goes to meet Rebecca at the restaurant. Rebecca is still sitting there, face long, and he's like, hey babe, and he kisses her, and she's like, hey, and you could see that she was upset about something. And Zaid sat down and he's like looking at her face, and all of a sudden you could see that he was concerned. Did something happen? Did somebody say something to her? He starts looking around. He's like, babe, what happened? And she's like, she starts bringing up, you asked me for $500. That's a lot of money. You've never asked me. In fact, before I even mentioned that, Zaid let us know while he was in the market that Rebecca had said to him that if he needs money for anything, yeah, if there's anything he needs, he must let her know, and she will give him the money for it. Basically, that's what he said. And I believe him. Rebecca said to him, if you need anything, come to me, and I'll help you out. So why is Rebecca all of a sudden crying and behaving this way? She told the man he could come to her for anything. He happened to need $500. Yeah. So, she starts bringing up, I just want to know what this whole thing is about, because, you've never asked me for that much before, and, without even telling me what it is, what you need it for, you didn't even give me a reason. And he's like, okay, so the problem is you wanted me to tell you what it's for. He's like, it's for something, because he's still not going to tell her yet what it is. And Rebecca is like, you know what? Yeah, you can take the money, do what you want to do with it. I don't even care anymore. And he's like, okay, yeah. And then he's telling us that he's not liking this whole side of Rebecca because she doesn't trust him, and it keeps coming up. Her past experience keeps coming up, and she keeps putting it on him. And he has a ring here he wants to use to engage, to propose to her, and he's not even sure how he feels about that right now. Is, The next couple is Tim and Jennifer. So yeah, after all this build up, yeah, we're back at the house or the apartment with Tim and Jennifer. You know, they spent, after the whole night they spent together before, you know, in the day he finally kissed her and they were in bed together and it looked like they're about to close the deal. And then, you know, everybody woke up and Jennifer is looking quite perturbed and Tim is looking very embarrassed and, you know, fragile, and, you know, everybody's looking strange. So we're getting to find out that, you know, the whole time we're like, okay, what happened? Is it that, you know, did Tim do something wrong while they were, you know, they were together in bed? You know, is it that he didn't perform well? Did he do some faux pas? Yeah, what was the big deal? You know, why are they looking like this? Come to find out, nothing happened. Nothing happened. After all that build up, nothing happened. So apparently, according to Tim, you know, he's never felt this way about anybody before in the longest time. And so, you know, while he was there in bed with Jennifer, you know, and, you know, things were happening, you know, he was feeling a lot of pressure to make things perfect, you know, and you know, it just killed the vibe, and, you know, I guess nothing happened. Whatever rose up fell down, or, you know, whatever it is. And while he was telling us what was happening, I was kind of expecting Tim to tell us that, you know, he realized that he's not attracted to Jennifer anymore. I was almost expecting a coming out on, you know, in this episode, because it seemed that, you know, that was the reason, because, you know, I still can't understand what is so hard for Tim to actually close the deal. I mean, he must have been damaged really badly by that previous girl or previous girlfriend that he was with for what, 4 years? Because Tim is like serious damage good, and the whole time he was there talking, Jennifer was sitting and she was like, you know, he was apologizing to her yet again, and she was like, yeah, it's okay, but you could tell it wasn't okay. Yeah. And you know, while he was talking to her, you could see he was literally hugging himself, giving himself a self-hug. And he looked like such a vulnerable person, you know. And I started thinking about maybe one of those, you know, those arranged marriages where a really young bride sometimes, yeah, and not even, you know, this is a sensitive topic, but, you know, those really young brides who have to marry like really older men in some such societies. And, you know, we've all heard these stories at some point. And, you know, she's probably never met her husband before. She never had any choice or anything in who she's going to marry. But, you know, they had this ceremony, and this is probably the first time she's seeing the husband up close and really meeting him. And this is their wedding night, and they're expected to close the deal, or, you know, consummate, is you know, which is that term that is used. And the husband is probably slightly tipsy and really could care less about his bride. He's just doing what he's supposed to do. And maybe, you know, she's like his fourth wife or something, or maybe, you know, fourth wife, not divorced. And, you know, there's a young lady there, you know, very nervous about her wedding night and, you know, basically being taken advantage of. That's in reality what it is, but that's the society. So, but it's not considered that way. But, you know, that's what Tim reminded me of when he was sitting there, you know, hugging himself and explaining what happened. And, you know, for a moment, my heart kind of went out to Tim, because I'm like, you know, this guy is so fragile. I feel so sorry for him. Whatever the cause is why he's having these difficulties now, I really feel for Tim, because I don't think any man really wants to be in this position on TV. Yeah. So yeah, Jennifer is there, and, you know, she's like kind of frustrated. She's like, you know, you just need to try, though. You need to be in the moment. You need to, you know, just not think so much about things and just enjoy the moment. And, you know, she was sounding a bit annoyed and, you know, impatient with him, which I guess you can kind of understand. But, you know, what I've been noticing in this show, there have been a lot of instances where it's the women that are pushing things forward and the men who want to take their time or take things slow, you know. And, you know, and I don't see anything wrong with that. In a lot of instances, I think that's what should really happen. The women should, in fact, take things slow, let the men lead, and stop pushing for sex before, you know, like they're the men. And so Jennifer is put in this position where she's the one being the aggressor. And yeah, she's very frustrated, and you could see that Tim was hurt, you know, and he's just so delicate, you know, he just feels so sorry for him. So the next scene, Jennifer, the next day, Jennifer is taking him to this canyon. What was it? Some, I forgot the name of it, but apparently it's this popular canyon in Colombia. And so she's taking Tim there because according to, yeah. So, you know, we see them coming over this hill, and, you know, she's way ahead of Tim, you know, walking powerfully, and just, you know, you could see in her body language, like, listen, man, I'm just tired of this guy. I'm tired of being his tour guide, and I'm tired of going around with this guy who's not even giving me what I want. And he's like I'm traveling with a girl and walking around with this female. I'm just, you know, that's kind of her attitude, because she has called him out and even after, you know, and she's like very, you could see it in her body language, like very impatient and, you know, quite annoyed with Tim. And Tim is walking behind her looking a bit tired and like, and he's like, okay, where are we going again? And she's like, we're going to, yeah. And he's like, okay, okay. And so she starts walking, and even the way she was answering, it was like, okay, you know, in the tone, like, okay, why are you asking me this again? Like, it doesn't matter. So he's like, and he could tell, he could feel it. So she takes him, you know, she's walking around. She went to look at some birds or some parrots, and she was thinking, I had one of these as a little girl. And she was like playing with the parrots and thing and trying to talk to them. And Tim was kind of like, okay. Yeah, and then she was taken to this other spot, and he's like, how much further do we have to walk? And she's like, why, are you tired already? Yeah, are you like 60 or something? And Tim is like, you know, Tim is feeling the strain. There's like incredible tension. He even mentioned that, you know, he noticed today there's incredible tension, and because of what happened the night before, he was just, you know, he was like, you know what, just to please her, he let her run the day, and he'll just follow along. So you could tell that he didn't really want to be there, and you know, but Jennifer is like, okay, yeah, we're gonna make a man out of you before, if it kills you, I'm gonna make a man out of you. And Tim was just not in the mood. So, you know, they go to this spot, and you know, apparently there's this swing that some swing that you have to go on when you go to that location, or to that apparently it's like a World Heritage Site, is it? And so they showed us the swing first. You know, we got like an up close of a swing, and then they showed like the camera panned out, and then you saw that the swing was on top of this hill or mountain. They're already on a canyon, and they're swinging. It's like swinging over the canyon, you know, one section of the canyon. And Tim was like, she's like, I want to go on this ride, and he's like, nope, I'm not going. Yeah. Tim wasn't even like interested in pretending. He's like, nope, I'm not going. And she's like, but it has to be two people. It's a swing for two, and we both have to go, or we can't, you know, I can't be the only one to go. And he's like, well, I'm not going. I am not going, you know. And she's like, so what? Am I supposed to go myself? He's like, you know, I can't go myself. Aren't you concerned about, you know, the fact that it's going to be dangerous for me alone to be on this swing? It requires two people. And he's like, well, then don't go. And she's like, but I want to go. And he's like, well, you know. And she's like, everything is a problem, you know. I'm trying to make you have a good time, and, you know, everything you complain about, I know you don't want to try the ride. And he's like, you know, he's telling us that she already knows that he's afraid of heights, and yet she brings him there. You know, it's like, obviously this trip is not for him, yeah. And he thinks she's being inconsiderate, and now she's attacking him and calling him all kind of things. She's like, you know, you don't want to do anything. Everything is a problem. You don't enjoy anything. You're being grumpy, yeah. You are at my father's farm, and, you know, acting like a little princess, which is the worst thing you can call a man. It's like, you know, a little princess. Not even like you're acting like you're royalty, or like you're too good for. She's like, you're acting like a princess, comparing the man to a little girl, little entitled princess. And, you know, Tim was like feeling really disrespected, and I thought she was being disrespectful. I mean, yeah, I understand her frustration because she's not getting any. Yeah, and because I think her biggest problem is, you know, Jennifer, you know, as being a beautiful woman, that's a typical problem when you are used to getting a lot of attention, and then suddenly you meet a guy who is not giving you the usual attention you're used to getting. and she just doesn't understand it, and it's really wounding her self-esteem, everything that she thought about herself. It's like, this guy's here, and you know, she even said, you know, anyone would kill to be with me, would be happy to be with me here, and here you are complaining. You know, and she even brought up what happened the night before, you know, like as the last straw, the last lemon to rub in. Is like, okay, you know, you have no purpose, you're not making me happy, you know, in fact, I don't even think you're the right person for me, we're not a good man. He's like, you know, maybe I'm not, because at this point Tim is like, listen, I'm not going on this ride because I'm afraid of height, and I don't care what you want to say, and you're being disrespectful. So he's like closing her off. So everything she's saying, he's just letting her talk, and he's like agreeing with her. Yes, I'm a coward. Yeah. Are you done? Yeah. And he's like over it. He's like, listen, I'm not going on that ride. So Jennifer storms off. Yeah. After she's done insulted him. And later on, Tim goes over to her, or not too long after, he goes over to her, and you know, he's like, you know, I'm sorry, but, and she's like, yeah, you know, I mean, you need to, because he told him he needs to go back to America. What is he doing here? Yeah. And you know, she's saying at this moment, honestly, she doesn't even know if she wants to see him anymore, because he's not making her happy, and she's not impressed. And you know, Tim sees this, and Tim tries to talk to her, and she, you know, he's like, you know, yeah, she's like, I'm trying to let you have a good time here and see the country, and you know, you've been here before, but I'm trying to let you enjoy things, but you don't want to do anything, everything you complain about. And he's like, yeah, I want to do things with you, but why can't we do normal couple things, you know? I mean, why do we have to be going hiking and going to these places, you know, where obviously I'm afraid of heights? And she's like, you know, well, I tried doing normal things with you the other night, and you know, she brings that up again, and basically you failed big time. And you know, Tim is like, okay. Yeah. And he's like, well, I'm sorry, you know, I'm sorry. And she's like, and I don't understand it, you know, and anybody would be happy to be here with me, and you know, you're here with me, and you're not enjoying it, you know. How do you think that makes me feel? So that's it for Tim and Jennifer. The next couple is the next couple we're going to be talking about is what's her name? Oh Lord, and Omar. Avery and Omar. So Avery, you know, last episode, Avery basically, her mom basically ran out of the little restaurant because Avery let her know that, listen, I'm going to Syria, I don't care what you think, I'm going to Syria, and that's final, blah blah. You know, she just sprung that on her mom. And remember, I was saying she was so rude and disrespectful, you know, for her mom, who's been there, even though her mom initially was like, okay, you know, I don't agree with this, but I'm still coming with you. And her mom has been all, you know, every step of the way helping them, and she's the one that, you know, why they got married. So basically, you know, Avery and Omar ran after mom, and you know, mom is outside crying, and she's like, she can't believe this. And she was saying that, you know, in addition how Avery was being really rude, you know, she was just being quite rude, and talking about, I'm gonna do this anyways, and just being very curt and disrespectful. And you know, Avery called her and said, mom, please, let's go back inside, let's talk. And you know, he's like, you know, the plan is I'm going to come to the US, but I'm going to come to the US, and I'm going to, you know, look at the process and start the application process, and I'm going to check with a lawyer, and if I see that it's going to be difficult and it's going to take too long, then, you know, I'm going to come back and go and stay with Omar in Syria. Yeah. So at this point she starts, you know, explaining things a bit to her mom instead of being the ass. And you know, her mom is like, but it's dangerous there, you know, there are a lot of things happening. And you know, Omar is assuring mom that, you know, the part of the city that I live, it's not dangerous. I would not do you think I would take her somewhere it's not safe? My city is safe, and there's nothing happening there. Yeah, it's happening on other parts of the country. And the mom is like, yeah, but you never know, you know, it's the fact is, which I can understand her mom's fear, you know. I know, for example, in Jamaica, sometimes, you know, in years gone by, you may have a big incident happening in one part of the country, but then it's the whole Jamaica. And as a person that's not living in the country, as far as you're concerned, if you hear that something is happening in, you know, even in America, you just assume that it's most of America that's affected. You know, you're not thinking that, okay, you know, it's as gross, it's the place is as big as America. Yeah, I was switching into a bit of German there. It's as big as the rest of America. And so, you know, it's possible that something can be happening here and not affect the other part of the country. But yeah, you know, as far as we're hearing, it's not just like a little section of the country that's being affected. It's a majority of the country that's being affected in Syria. So even in his little or not his little, in his part of the city that's safe, anything can happen at any time. So mommy's like, you know, that's mommy's concerned about that. She's like, anything can happen. And you know, Omar is telling her that, you know, but that's life, you know, anything can happen at any time. There's no guarantee about the future, but she's my wife and she belongs with me and we're supposed to be together. And you know, eventually they start, you know, convincing mom, and you know, mom is saying, okay, so you're gonna come first and you're gonna see how it goes, you know, because at this point mom is determined that she's gonna do everything in her power to make sure that Omar gets to come to the States. And so far we've seen how mommy operates. When mommy is in the mix to get things done, things get done. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that mommy, whatever the process is, yeah, or the challenges are, mommy is going to come through as best as possible. So anyways, you know, the mommy's like, you know what, I mean, I'm happy that you two got married. I'm happy, you know, that my daughter is married to him and, you know, she's happy. You know, I'm just not happy about the idea that she'll probably be moving to Syria. But, you know, mommy's like, you know what, you guys are newlywed. You enjoy your time together as newlywed. I'm going to dip out of here, go into my room to pack my bags because I'm supposed to be leaving soon. So mom leaves them and goes and packs her stuff. And then we see them telling mom farewell. So after that, you know, they're both going to their one hotel room now, because now I guess whatever room Omar had booked for mom and Avery, he is that it's officially unbooked. So Avery's now moving into his room and they're gonna have their first night together and their first kiss, yeah, because as we know, they're being very strict to the religion about that. And so Avery's very excited about this whole thing, and Omar is quietly excited because he's not talking as much as Avery. Avery's like, I can't wait for him to see my hair out and for him, you know, to give him his first kiss. You know, I'm looking forward to our first night together. And so, yeah, we see them going into the hotel room, and we didn't even, you know, as they went in, the camera was going and they're like, okay, bye. So the camera guys stepped back out and they closed the door. And so that's it for our modest Muslim couple. They consummated their marriage. And the next day now we're seeing them together, and, you know, all lovey-dovey, and especially Avery's like all Omar. She's like, you know, I've married the love of my life, and, you know, we had a wonderful night. We had our first night together, and yeah. And she was like asking Omar, you know, how do you feel being a married man? How do you feel being married to me? And Omar's like, you know, it's a good feeling. It feels different. She's like, does it feel different? He's like, yeah, it feels different, and I'm happy I'm married to you. And she's like, yeah, are you happy? And he's like, yeah, 200%. And Avery's telling us that, you know, her friends normally say you don't, you normally test drive a car before you, you know, you normally test drive a car. And basically she's referring to Omar as a car. She's like, well, Omar is my 2019 Porsche, yeah, and he drives, and all you have to do is press a button or something to the effect. All you have to do is touch the on button or something, and it works. So she's telling us that they had a good night, and whatever, everything works fine, and there was no problem. And Omar was also telling us that, you know, the chemistry was good, and, you know, their first night together, it was what was his term? Basically, it was wonderful. So, you know, that was good to hear, you know, this nice young couple, you know, different background. And you know, it's interesting when you get to see people from a different culture who, you know, are a bit more modest and slow to approaching, you know, the whole sexuality thing. And, you know, I mean, they're a married couple now, but it's always nice to see people take things slow sometimes, and to just see, you know, see things from that perspective. And yeah, they were sweet. I thought, you know, that whole scene was sweet. So they're out on the road or street, you know, walking together, and they stopped at the, you know, there's Avery has 5 more days in Lebanon with Omar before she goes back to the state, and she's trying to enjoy all her time with her husband. And they're at the city restaurant outdoors, and, you know, they're together, and Avery's like, you know, yeah, so because apparently Omar goes out with some of his friends sometimes to play, or play some ball or whatever it was he does. I forgot what the sport. And Avery's like, so yeah, am I going to meet your friends and thing? And he's like, yeah. And then she's like, there's a different side to Avery. There's Avery that likes to dance in the street, yeah. And what was the other thing she says? Avery that likes to dance in the street and something else. And Omar was like, dance in the street? What do you mean? No, no dancing in the street, here or anywhere, no. And she's like, why not? Yeah, all I'm doing is like snapping my fingers and moving my shoulder. And he's like, no, can't do that. Yeah, and he's like, Avery is new to the culture and the religion, and as her husband, he has to guide her and let her know what is acceptable from what is not acceptable. And dancing in the street is not anything that a proper Muslim woman or a woman does in his society. And he's like, it doesn't matter if she's even slapping her hands, yeah, or moving her shoulders. She can't do that in the street. Maybe the only place she can get away with that is in the bedroom or in the house. I mean, he didn't say that, but basically she can't do that in public, yeah. She needs to be quiet and quiet like everybody else, and unseen. So Avery's like, but if I want to dance, and she's she's pushing the whole topic. And they're showing them together, in the little interview room where they're telling us what's happening. And Omar is like, Avery's a very what was the term? Avery's a very thick-headed person, or a very basically kind of like saying she's an independent or a woman who says what she wants, and is a bit more outgoing. And she needs to understand that when they have an argument, she's not to argue back with him, she's to be quiet, yeah. And Avery was sitting there when he said that, and she was like, I'm not going to be quiet, I don't want to be quiet, and she's like, I'm not going to be quiet. She's telling us the camera. And of course we didn't hear anything else from Omar. He's sitting there. I'm sure he probably didn't even say anything, because at the end of the day he knows what's up, yeah. She can say anything she wants before the camera, but at the end of the day, when they're together as man and wife, or they're together and the cameras aren't rolling, everybody better realize what time it is, yeah? It's Angela and Michael, guys. So Angela and Michael are by the hotel pool, and Angela, they're having a drink, and Angela is a bit reflective. She needs to talk to Michael, because she wants to know where his stance is. What does he really want? How important, how important is it for him to have a child, and at what cost? So she's like, about what your mom said earlier about this being something that people do in Nigeria, where the women allow their husbands to go out and have children with other women when they can't. And Michael was like, yes, this is in fact something that happens here. And Angela is like, Michael, that's not gonna happen with me, And if I allow you to sleep with another woman, are you saying that you would do this? And Michael was going to be like, no, babe, I would never be with another woman. You're the only one I want to be with, and I want to have our baby. And if not, then But Michael is letting her know, and she's like, well, Michael, I really need to know this, because I want to know that when you come to the States, you're not going to step out on me or leave me for somebody else. And it's important for us to know this now, because I may really not be able to have a child, I'm not sure if I'll be able to do this. And Michael is like, no, baby, I would never leave you for anybody else. I would never leave you for anybody else. I'm not going anywhere. So Michael, Angela is like, yeah, she's not so sure about this. She's not so sure about if Michael is going to be faithful to her, or if he's just gonna leave her for another woman when he gets to the state, And Michael is like, babe, just try. We said we're going to check this thing out, and try everything we can to make this happen. Yeah, let's try. Yeah, I just need you to try. So Michael, and the next scene we see Michael and Angela heading towards this place, and Michael is holding her hand, and Angela is looking very nervous, and she's like, but Michael, what if I don't have any eggs? What if I, you know, I'm so nervous. And Michael's like, don't worry, babe, don't worry, you know, let's do, you know, I'll still love you. Let's, you know, let's just do this, you know, let's try. So Angela is in this clinic, completely embarrassed, you know, and Michael is trying to kiss and hug Angela and comfort her. And Angela is like, you know, Michael, I'm not very huggy and kissy right now because she's nervous as heck. And she's like, you know, the things I do for love, you know, I'm up in this space looking like a damn fool, yeah, to try and see if I can have a child for Michael. We're going to do this, what she said, a vagina scan. We're going to do this vagina scan, or I forgot the term, yeah, and it's called a so-and-so, yeah, ultra scan or something like that. And basically we're going to be checking your vaginal walls and your uterus to see if you have any eggs and how you are, you know, how your body is, or your, yeah, what the possibilities are. So, you know, Angela is like there and she's like, okay. And then Angela starts sweating like hell and Michael is there, you know, looking concerned after the doctor starts explaining things. And then, you know, he's like, they're trying to comfort Angela, but at the same time you could see that he was like shocked because he was hearing a lot of things that he's not really heard, and it's like the reality of everything. And he's like, okay, yeah, trying to comfort her, but at the same time still a bit confused, shocked, like, okay. So Angela starts sweating like hell and she's like, am I the only, it's so hot in here, am I the only one who's sweating here? And the doctor is like, oh, I see you're very nervous, yeah, very anxious about the whole thing. There's nothing to worry about, we'll just carry out the test and we'll see. So Angela goes upon this, you know, on this bed, yeah, so familiar to most females watching this, and who has had any kind of the gynecological visit or, you know, checks for whatever. And so, yeah, she goes upon that syrup, and the doctor, you know, you could see the doctor, without getting into details, the doctor starts checking her and she's looking at an X-ray or an ultrasound kind of monitor. And, you know, she's okay. And she's like, okay, well, the good thing is you have, you know, you have a very beautiful, you have a very, very beautiful uterus, yeah? And, was that what she said? Yeah, you have a very beautiful uterus, she said, because, you know, no, she's not seeing any signs of any, what was it? I forgot. She wasn't seeing any signs of, what is that thing that affects some women? Fibroids, yeah. And, you know, Angela's thing was pretty clean and everything. And she was like, you have a beautiful uterus. Angela was like, okay, okay, well, thank you. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that kind of loosened her up a bit. So the doctor was like, okay, so now we're going to be checking the left ovary. Was it the left ovary first? She starts checking the left ovary. And she's like checking there. And all we're seeing is this black spot. And the doctor's like, okay. I finished checking this left ovary and there are no eggs. So I was like, everybody's like a sigh of dejection, like, okay, no eggs. She's like, so we're going to check the right ovaries now. So we start checking the right ovaries, because Angela told her earlier, she's like, when was the last time you had your menses? And Angela said last time was 7 months ago, and Angela is now 53. Yeah, in the episode she's 53, and the last time she had her last period was 57. 7 months ago. 57 months, can you imagine? Anyways, so, you know, the doctor is there checking, yeah, it's like, and then his father's like, okay, wow, okay, there's an egg. So Angela is like, there's an egg, whoa, there's an egg. And Michael, everybody's like, oh, there's an egg. And the doctor is like, but we'll talk about that later on, yeah? Okay, so I just finished checking, and he's like, okay. So, you know, they're finished now, and the doctor is like, okay, so Angela is like, we have an egg. So the doctor is like, before that, we'll just do a recap. What I did is I checked your uterus, and your uterus is beautiful, everything is in order. And then we checked your left ovary, and there was no eggs, and on the right ovary, there's one egg. Or it could have been the right ovary first and the left. It don't matter, guys. Angela have one egg, right? And the doctor is basically telling Angela, like, don't get too excited about this one egg, because you're 53 years old, and this one egg is 53 years old as well. So there's no chance. There's basically no chance that you can use this egg to do anything, except maybe scramble and make some some omelet, right? I'm not laughing at this thing because, I mean, this is something that some women deal with, you know, who are trying to have kids, and some later in life, and it's a challenge, you know, so it's not funny. But, you know, it's just funny for Angela, yeah? Because Angela picked up herself with this 20-odd-year-old guy, yeah? Who is just starting out his life and wants to have kids, right? And she goes all the way to Nigeria from America to be with this guy, and is planning on taking him to the United States, knowing full well that this guy wants to have kids, yeah? So at this point, Angela's like, she doesn't know, you know, I mean, she doesn't know what she's gonna do, you know. It's really disappointing because, you know, she doesn't know if Michael is going to leave her when, you know, leave her later on to in order to have kids. And you know what, chances he may, or, you know, hopefully, the fact that Michael has already been giving up so much in Nigeria, because to be honest, you know, Michael has been behaving himself. He has been a good boy. It's just that Angela is overly jealous and obsessive, and, you know, the guy can't go anywhere. But Michael has been, from what we've been seeing, the little we've been seeing, Michael has been preparing himself because he knows that, you know, he's about to close the deal. Angela is about to take him over, and this is what he wants. And I think he does like Angela as well. You know, he probably enjoys her in the bed, and, you know, he kind of likes her personality most of the time when she's not being over the top crazy and aggressive and, you know, trying to pull fights, because he's used to strong women. But the thing is, you know, Michael, it's possible that he could go over to the US and just live out his life with Angela until, you know, maybe they eventually separate, or, you know, Angela dies. Who knows? Because Michael is 20, what? Is he 30 yet? He's 20 something. Yeah, I think he's 30. Yeah, Michael is about hitting 30 or 29 or something like that. And, you know, Angela is basically 53. So there is going to come a time, and, you know, we know that men can have kids as long as they're alive. They can still have kids, basically. Yeah, so he still has a chance. I mean, at what point is he going to be willing to have a child when he's old and gray? That's the other question. But, you know, I think he'll probably behave himself for a while and settle down for a while, and then until eventually maybe he just decides that, you know what, this isn't going to work out, and it becomes a problem in the relationship one way or the other, and things just fall apart. So yeah, Angela is saying, you know what, she wants to give Michael a baby still, but this baby has to be her genes, her, you know, her bloodline. So, you know, she's gonna go back to her daughter and ask her again this time if she'll give her an egg, you know, and just pray that the daughter says yes this time, because if she doesn't, she's not gonna be able to give Michael a baby. So that's it for Michael and Angela and Michael. The next couple is Akini and Benjamin, right? So Benjamin has gone through all the tests with the parents and the elders and the brothers and everything, and all the stress, and he's come out on top, basically, or alive, yeah? And now Benjamin is, you know, he's moving out of the brother's house to go back to go to his Airbnb, or his apartment that he had initially rented coming to Kenya. So, you know, I'm sure he's happy about this. He's like, you know, I'm finally going to my apartment, peace, you don't have anybody, you know, staring over his shoulder the whole time, and, you know, this whole damn drama in the community. He's going off to his apartment, and so he's there, and then we see you know, Akini comes to visit him, and so, you know, Akini is letting him know that, you know, I'm gonna be staying with you. And he's like, really? Because he didn't plan for this. Yeah, he has one room and apparently an apartment, and it's a little flat, 1 room, apartment, bathroom, kitchen. And, you know, he's like, okay. And apparently the 1 room has 2 separate beds, yeah? And Akini's like, I'm going to come and stay with you. He's like, yeah, okay, that's cool. How long? And apparently she's going to be spending the next 6 days with him. And Benjamin is like, really? He's like, is your father okay with this? She's like, my father doesn't know. She thinks it's funny. My dad doesn't know. And he's like, really? So what did you tell? She's like, my mom knows, but my dad doesn't know. So I was like, really? Mommy knows? Okay. Strange. But anyways. And he's like, so what did you tell dad? What did you tell your dad? And she's like, I told him I was going on a safari. And he's like, for 6 days? And she's like, yeah. And he believed? And she's like, yeah. So, you know, at the end of the day, I don't think any of them believe that. I think everybody knows where she's going, but they're like, you know what? We're about to get paid. So or whatever the deal is. So anyways, you know, Akini is there sitting on the couch with Benjamin, and we're seeing a different side of Akini. Yeah, this church girl Akini, who's been, you know, it's like, okay, my first time with a white guy, you know, being with a, or having a white boyfriend and all of this and blah blah, and I'm a good church girl, and you know, things have to be this way, and you know, you can't be kissing me, you can't do anything. And then Akini is like on the loose. Yeah, she's in the couch flirting with Benjamin. And you know, Benjamin is an upstanding Christian guy. Yeah, he's been working at this for a couple of years, and you can see he's serious about his thing. The father did say that he, you know, he sees that Benjamin is a serious man, and that's one of the things that impressed him, as well as the elders. Benjamin is a serious Christian guy. I mean, nobody's perfect, but he's obviously trying his best to live that life. That can, as he said, that can be an example to other people, and he's trying his best to live life according to, you know, how it's stated in the Bible. And I think Benjamin is just a good guy. But Akini is like, Akini has other ideas. She's in the couch talking about, you know, we can sleep in the same room, and Benjamin is like, no, I'll sleep in the living room and you can have the room. And she's like, why? But there are 2 beds. And you know, and he's like, yeah, but you know, I don't want us to be in the same space because that's too much temptation. And she's like, really? And she's like looking a bit disappointed, like, you know. And you know, the difference with Benjamin as opposed to Tim, yeah, because even though Benjamin is refraining from having sex, there's a certain strength and you know, a certain strength, self-control and masculinity to the whole thing. You know, you can see that, okay, it's obvious this guy is not, there's no question about his sexuality or whether, you know, whatever the questions we have about Tim. There's no question about Benjamin here. You know, we know that, okay, it's possible this guy, you know, he comes this part, he likes this woman. Yeah, he likes her and he wants to be with her, but he's just not ready to compromise his faith and, you know, sleep with her already. So, you know, Benjamin is letting Akini know that, yeah, you're going to have to stay in the room and I'll sleep outside. And Akini is like still pushing the envelope. She's like, so what if I walk around in a towel? What if I walk past you in a towel? And, you know, Benjamin is like more open, starts sweating. You can literally see him start sweating, you know, and he's like blushing a bit. He's like, well, you know, because Akini's there provoking, you know, being very provocative, you know, she's being like a seductress, you know, it's like looking him dead in the eyes, and he's like, what if I walk around naked, basically, or, you know, yeah, is that temptation then? Yeah, is that temptation? Can you, yeah? And I'm like, what's the deal with Akini? This is not the Akini we're used to seeing. What is wrong with this girl? It's like, overnight she became a totally different person, like a seductress. Mind I say, almost, we can't call her a slut because she hasn't, but she's exhibiting hoe-ish behavior. Yeah. So Benjamin is like, no, this is not gonna happen. Yeah, you're gonna stay in your spot and I'm gonna stay in my spot. And he's like, you know, they discussed this before and he thought they were on the same page, that they're not gonna be having sex before marriage because it was important to them and it's a part of their belief. And he thought the same thing, but, you know, apparently, you know, she's, yeah. So he's discovering different sides of Akini in the same instance that we are. So the next thing is, you know, the next day, I think it was, or later that day, or in the morning, whenever, Akini is taking Benjamin to this zoo, or safari as they call it, but, you know, we call it zoo. Because, you know, as the animal, and Benjamin was like, no, I mean, you have a nice butt, but it's not that big. And he's like, okay. So Benjamin wants to discuss serious things with Akini because, you know, he wants to know if it was worth the trip over here and, you know, progressing, you know, if he can actually propose to her. Because he's going to have to come up with some serious money to give the parents, yeah? And he wants to know what he's getting himself into. Is Akini ready to meet his son? Because that's the most important thing to Benjamin at this time. Yeah. So he's like, you know, so my son, Grayson, he's 5, you know, he's like asking Akini, you know, are you ready to, you know, if I'm to propose to you and you're to come to the States, are you ready to, you know, to meet my son? And Akini's like, I don't know, you know, Akini's acting like a little girl. She's like, what is he going to call me? Am I going to be like his, his mom? And, Benjamin is like, no, I'll introduce you as my wife or my, and we'll take things slowly from there. And Akini is like, I don't know if I'm ready to be a mom. Yeah. And, Benjamin is kind of taken aback by this. And, Akini is like, I mean, I'm not used to taking care of children. And, I don't know how he's going to react to me, if he like me or, I don't know. And Benjamin is like, well, he's 5 years old. He's very open. And, I think Benjamin's son is a sweetheart. So far as we've seen, he's a sweetheart. He's 5 years old, as Benjamin said. I understand Akini's position. Before I had my son, I was like terrified of children. And then later on, it was like teenagers that I'm terrified of, because they're like just so disgusting sometimes. But anyways, yeah. So and the last thing I was thinking about was like taking care of children or having a child or, I just could not imagine having a child and taking care of a child, because as an only child myself, and Akini seems to be the youngest child in her family. As an only child, I've never had to take care of children. It was always myself, yeah. Never had to take care of other little kids. And, when I saw smaller kids around, I was like, okay, yeah. It was like terrifying, the idea that you could one day take care of them. And then, later on in life, I ended up, getting married, having my son. And, then it becomes natural, it's something that, okay, you give birth, you have a child, and then you start taking care of them. So I understand Akini, especially because she's saying that, it's not my child, it's your child that you had with another woman. So, technically, because, Benjamin is telling her that, it's something that you'll grow to do. It's, it might seem challenging at first, but, over time, I think it becomes easy. And she's trying to tell him that, yeah, that's because it's, your child, but it's not my child that I gave birth to. Yeah. But I think that, eventually, Akini is just a bit immature right now, and I mean, she's a bit selfish, she's dating this man, and she probably wants to be treated like the princess. But at the end of the day, there's nothing standing in the way of her being treated as a princess. That can still happen, and she can still care for this man's child and, grow to love this child and have a good relationship with him while he's also taking care of his child. So I think in time, this is something she could find out if they move beyond this point. But, that was kind of a concern for Benjamin. He's like, I'm still not sure where she stands on this. She's a bit reluctant. And, so we'll see. So they left the zoo and they're back to they went to this restaurant after. So we see him and Akini walking to their table, and Akini's like, oh, I'm so glad to be sitting down because I've been on my feet all day. And, Benjamin is like, okay. They're sitting around the table. They got their menus, and the waiter comes over and he's like, okay, what would you like to drink? They ordered what they wanted. Benjamin ordered some lamb, and Akini some fish. And you're like, would you like something to drink? Benjamin says, I'll have a Fanta. Yeah, that's a Fanta soda. And then Akini's there like some newbie, like nobody ever carried her to a restaurant before. She's never been to a restaurant before. And she's looking at this and she's like, oh, this is all alcohol here. It's all alcoholic drinks, yeah? And she's, obviously it's not all alcoholic drinks, because if Benjamin ordered a Fanta, I'm pretty sure she could get some water. She could probably get some kind of iced tea. She can probably get some kind of fruit juice, yeah? She can get some Coca-Cola or Pepsi. But no. But Akini is like, okay, she's looking at all the spirits. And she's like, have you ever tried this before? And Benjamin is like, maybe you should try it. Maybe you like it, because in his past he's drank before, but it's a thing now where he's actually not drinking. He's trying not to have any alcoholic beverage, which I respect. And Akini is like, okay, I'm gonna try the margarita, yeah. And so before their dinner comes, which is normally your drink comes first. And Akini is like drinking that drinking that margarita like it's water. Yeah, she's there sipping on the margarita the whole time. And Benjamin is trying to have a serious conversation with her. And as anybody knows who has had some alcoholic beverage in their lifetime, yeah, or had a few experiences with them, vodka is one of those things that, you know, it doesn't really have a bit of a taste. It's not really strong in the sense that you can like, okay, it's not like rum or even like wine where it's like, okay. Vodka is like a silent creeper. Yeah, it just creeps up on you, so you have to be careful when you're having vodka. You could be like taking a sip, and before you know it, it creeps up on you, like, and it's one of those creepers. And Akini's there drinking it like it's water, yeah, on an empty stomach, because apparently they've not eaten since whenever, yeah, and she's tired, so it means they're probably thirsty, and she's sitting there drinking this. And apparently she's not like a big drinker, because according to Benjamin, she said she doesn't really drink, or she's not drunk alcohol before. I doubt that. Maybe what she means is she's maybe tasted some at some point or the other, but she's not like a regular drinker. And she's there downing one glass, yeah, before the dinner comes. And before you know it, yeah, the glass is halfway, and Akini is drunk as hell. And she starts giggling, and, you know, she's talking nonsense, and, you know, it's like, I think I'm drunk. I think I'm drunk. And Benjamin is like looking at her, and he's like, okay, then maybe you need to slow down then. And, you know, he's like, would you like some water? She's like, no. Can I have another? So their dinner comes over. Benjamin, you know, is eating, and Akini is looking at her fish, and she's like, this is all oil. And he's like, no, that's sauce. She's like, no, it's all oil. It's very oily. And, you know, I didn't really see it, but it could be really oily, yes. And Benjamin could be calling it sauce, because let's just face it, yeah. But as a local, we know our food, and, you know, Akini's like, this is very oily. And yeah, she's very tipsy. I'm flat out drunk already. Yeah, but I'm sure she knows, yeah, oil when she sees it. And Benjamin is like, you know, she's not even eating her food, and she's like asking for, he's like, do you want some water, you know, to basically pace yourself and to, you know, become sober again. And Akini is like, no, can I have another glass of this margarita? Yeah, she there slurping it. Benjamin is trying to have a serious conversation with her, and, you know, he's asked her something, and she's like, what? Okay. And, you know, Benjamin is not amused. He's like saying, you know, he's not impressed with Akini, and the fact that she's basically being a sloppy drunk. She has no control over herself. She has no idea of her limits and constraints, and he doesn't find it attractive at all. And he's calling her a mess, and he doesn't want to have to deal with that mess, because he has a 5-year-old and he needs somebody who can be more responsible. And Akini is showing some very irresponsible side right now. And, you know, Benjamin is talking about, you know, what's the chance that, you know, if she's there with his son alone, and she could be drinking. But yeah, Benjamin is concerned about that, and I would be concerned about it too, because Akini is obviously drunk, and, you know, she's not eating her food, which is supposed to be helping you to fill up your stomach and, you know, absorb some of the alcohol. She's not eating anything, and she's acting a fool around the table, laughing, you know, over serious things, you know, making joke and saying, okay, we're Adam and Eve, and, you know, he was like, that was not funny. And she's there asking for more drink, and he's like, no. And she's like, I just want one more. So the waiter comes across, and he's like, can I get you guys anything else? And, you know, Akini's like, can I have another of this drink? And the waiter's like, okay. And, you know, this is where Benjamin steps in, and, you know, I respect that, because one thing we can say about Benjamin, yeah, in the beginning, he was acting a bit, we were like, okay, where's this guy going all the way to Kenya? But he's going with just $1,000 to Kenya to do what? Yeah, and he didn't seem so smart in the beginning, but, you know, as I said, you know, there's no way this guy's actually going to Kenya with $1,000. He obviously has some money somewhere else, but he's pretending like he's really broke. And, you know, I suspect that's the case. Benjamin seems like a planner, somebody who was always looking a step ahead. Yeah, he's not just like a careless guy. I mean, he's probably made some mistakes in his past, but he's not painting himself as the careless, irresponsible, you know, dumb American who's going overseas looking for love and ignoring everything else and being made a fool of. He's like, listen, you know, he tells the waiter that we're gonna call it a night. Can we get 2 boxes to pack these foods, and to pack the food, and then yeah, I'll have my bill. And she's not having any more drink. So, you know, Akini is like, okay, when the waiter walks off, he's like, okay, boss, you're paying the bill. He goes off, and Akini is like, just, and come back with one more drink, please. The waiter is like, no, girl, you're not paying for anything. Shut him out. And Benjamin is like, you know, looking at Akini, and Akini is like behaving like a desperate drug addict junkie. She's like, you know, can I just have one more, just one more, anything, and I will ask you for anything else, just one more. And Benjamin is like, no, yeah, that's it, we're gonna go. So that's it for Benjamin and Akini. You know, Akini was like a disappointment, and Benjamin proved to be, you know, a cool guy, cool Christian guy who's like a stand-up, stable guy. And not only that, somebody who looks out for his child. You know, I mean, granted, his child, he's sharing custody with his wife, but he's like a responsible parent. You can see that he really cares about every step of his child's development, and he's not going to just bring anybody in. And even the fact that he was like, you know what, I'm going to Kenya to visit a friend. He didn't even say this was a girlfriend or a possible fiance like all the others tend to do. You know, I'm liking Benjamin. Really liking Benjamin. Where's Tom? No, he doesn't. He doesn't. Stop saying that. I don't need love. Stop saying that. You're making me look crazy in front of Tom and everybody. But you don't understand. You don't understand what it's like. Being stabbed in the heart so many fucking times. Darcey and Tom. So everybody's going out clubbing, yeah? Perfect opportunity for Darcey. Darcey loves getting dressed up. Yeah, which girl doesn't? So, but Darcey's taking the longest time. Her sister is ready. Dorian is ready. Tom is ready. And everybody is basically ready. Darcey is there getting dressed. She's dominated the mirror. Yeah, I don't even know how Tom managed to get himself ready. Darcey is there doing all kinds of things. She's in this dress, like looking like a stuffed turkey. Literally a stuffed turkey. I'm sure that dress is five sizes smaller than Darcey, because Darcey is looking more stuffed than a stuffed sardine. She's like spilling out all over the dress. Yeah, I don't even know how she breathes. So Darcey's there, and you know, everybody, she's getting ready. Everybody's at the door literally waiting, 1 foot out, like, okay, yeah, it's time to go. Are we gonna get to this club tonight? And then finally there, you know, Darcey's like, okay, I'm ready, we're going to the club, yay. She's all excited, and everybody's like, we've been ready, yeah. So they get to this club, and they're by the bar sitting down, and you know, right away the girls start getting into this catty, bitchy, messy stuff. And you know, why can't these twins get along? And of course, you know, Stacey is showing us another side of her, because Stacey has been playing the grounded, you know, happy one this whole time. And yeah, she's definitely more grounded than Darcey. And but you can see how she really gets under Darcey's skin. And I'm telling you, man, if that is a sister, I don't want an enemy. Yeah, because she's like provoking Darcey the whole time, and have Darcey looking like this crazy delusional person, because somehow, yeah, when Stacey's provoking Darcey the whole time, nobody's seeing that, or they're pretending like they're not seeing it. But yet when Darcey starts acting up, it's like, oh my god, Darcey, why are you behaving this way? It's like, okay, there's a ghost in the room, yeah, and Darcey is just reacting to this ghost. Nobody's seeing her sister. So Darcey's sitting there, and you know, Stacey calls over there. It's like, come Dorian, come, yeah, come over here, like, I want my man beside me. And she starts kissing on him and everything, and he's like, oh, we're so happy, aren't we? Oh, make a beautiful couple, my handsome man. And Darcey's like sitting there, and she's like just soaking it up and just playing into the whole thing and looking so jealous and hateful. And Tom is there like, okay, seeing what is happening, and he's like, you know, and Darcey's like, okay, I see you too, like, okay, You're pretending as if, you know, you're all happy, and you know, Stacey's like, pay attention to your own man. Yeah, I'm with my man. I'm enjoying my time with my man. Pay attention to your own man. And she's like, they're just, you know, and Darcey's just playing into this whole thing to the point where she gets so annoyed. And, you know, Tommy's like, Darcey's like, yes, you're all I need. And Tommy's like, am I? And she's like, yeah, what do you mean? Of course. He's like, because all you're doing is paying attention to your sister. You're not focused on me and what's happening here. And Darcey's like, of course. And then, you know, her sister is like under her skin again. And, you know, she's like, yes, Darcey, pay attention to your man. Don't focus on my man. It's like, ugh. And Darcey just starts snapping and is like, you know, what's wrong with you? You know, she starts shouting at her sister. And, you know, of course, Stacey, all of a sudden, she's like, the saint is like, you know, what am I doing wrong? Yeah? Poking at your sister. That's what you're doing the whole time, Stacey. You think we don't see it? Yeah? You think we don't see what you're doing, girl? So, the whole time, Darcey flips. And Tom is like, look, yeah? What's happening? Why are you behaving like this to your sister? Why are you being such a bitch? You know? Tom, who's supposed to be on her side, but you know, we already know that Tom don't like Darcey. Yeah, we can see that he has a special hate for Darcey, but somehow he's still here because there's no way this man likes an ounce of Darcey. He is the worst kind of boyfriend to have. He's there picking up for the sister and pretending as if he doesn't see what the sister is doing and how it's getting to Darcey. And he's thinking that, okay, yes, we know Darcey needs to be more mature. She needs to see what her sister is doing and just rise above it and stop falling into that trap and behaving like a nut person. But, you know, Tom starts attacking her as well. You know, that's what it feels like. So Darcey's like all alone at this point. Darcey's like, when, you know, Tom asks, why are you attacking your sister? Why are you behaving like that to her? You know, Darcey's like, you know what? Excuse me. She takes up herself from the chair. And by the way, Darcey is long drunk. Yeah, this whole scene, Darcey has been drunk from she stepped in the room. I don't know why Darcey gets so drunk so quickly and she's still drinking. Or maybe they keep repeating this thing over and over. The production team is, you know, asking him to repeat this whole thing because we just need to get this part, or, you know. Because Darcey, before you know, Darcey's drunk and everybody else is just cool and having a cool time and drinking. I don't know what have they been putting in Darcey's drink, because she's like, she's fast drunk, you know, more than anybody else. So Darcey's basically tumbling out of the restaurant or the club, yeah, and she can barely walk in her heels, and because it's like stuffing yourself in this little bag, and then you have heels on top of that, and you're trying to walk and your body can't even move. That's Darcey walking through the door, basically falling over. So she goes on the outside, the camera crew follows her, Dorian follows her as well, and he's like, hey Darcey, what's up? Just, you know, relax, have a good time. And she's like, you know, my sister is provoking me, you know, you guys don't see what's happening. And Tom, you know, Tom doesn't like me, he doesn't, you know, and Dorian is trying to convince her that, yeah, you know, Tom likes you, you know, he's there for you. And, you know, Darcey's telling the camera that she doesn't feel it, you know. She and you know, she's breaking down in front of us pieces by pieces, and I feel it for Darcey, because I mean, we all know Darcey is very delicate. We know she has a low self-esteem. We know she has issues. It's no secret that Darcey has issues. We don't call her crazy Darcey for nothing, yeah. And poor Darcey needed to have gotten that counseling years ago, a long time ago, before she even came back on this show, but she hasn't. And what happens to people who need help and don't get it? They just crumble to pieces, crumble like dust. And that's what's happening to Darcey. You know, she's just unraveling every episode. And, you know, just when we thought it was terrible, she just keeps proving us that she can get lower than that. I think that there's some kind of resentment that we're not seeing, you know, or it's not being spoken about, but Stacey has some resentment towards Darcey. At first, we thought Darcey was just totally crazy that her sister, you know, wants her to be happy and everything, but Darcey's just the one ruining it. And yes, that's mostly the case, but her sister is also very sketchy, yeah. For a twin, she's just so sketchy, and maybe she has some resentment towards Darcey because, anyways, so Darcey's outside breaking down, and, you know, she's like saying Tom doesn't love her, and, you know, she tries to give all this love and she doesn't get it in return, and she doesn't know what else to do. She doesn't know what she's doing wrong, you know. It's like she's not getting it. And at this point, you know, we're like, wow, this is a bit of insight from Darcey, a bit of perception. Is Darcey starting to come around and realize that something is happening here and there's this trend and that she needs to break it, this cycle, that she needs to stop, ground herself and get the help that she needs? Because that's what it was sounding like for me. Like Darcey was like having that moment, like, you know, something is definitely wrong here. It keeps going wrong. You know, I keep getting things wrong. What am I doing wrong? I need to get it right. So we skip off to the, you know, next scene. And she's like, you know, I'm sorry for my sister's behavior. You know, I don't know why she's doing this, you know. And Tom is like, yeah, I don't know either. It's like this, you know, we're having a good time. And then, you know, it starts, you know, she starts acting up. And the sister is like, you know, she's just trying to get compliments, you know. She's trying to get compliments. That's what she's doing. She's fishing for compliments. And I'm like, really, really, Stacey? And, you know, Tom is like, yeah, but, you know, but this is the way you do it. You know, you're trying to get compliments, trying to get approval. This is the way you do it. And Tom is, you know, playing just as dumb, you know, because he really is trying to get rid of Darcey at some point. And he's just looking for different reasons and piling them up, you know, all in a record. Yeah. As to why it's impossible to be with Darcey. And Darcey's making it quite easy for Tom, you know. So we go back to the bathroom. Florian goes, you know, and calls Darcey. So, or maybe it was a camera guy. So Darcey comes out of the bathroom. She's stumbling out of the bathroom, still drunk. Yeah, we see a piece of paper. I don't know if it's toilet paper or hand towel. You know, paper towel is stuck to her heels, and she's walking up there to the bar or to the club. And Florian goes and helps her, and she's like, Where's Tom? Where's Tom? You know, she's like desperate to find Tom after everything. You know, I thought she was upset with Tom, which she has a right to be. I wouldn't be talking to this fool for the rest. In fact, I would have just go straight home. I'd have found my way home, or wait until everybody ready to go home and go home, because there's no making up with this guy. But Darcey's just in desperate need of attention and approval, and she's begging for Tom. And yeah, Florian takes her around to Tom. She gets, you know, she finds a seat beside Tom, and she sits down, and she just starts crying again. Darcey starts crying right there before Tom, and Tom is like sitting there, like, you know, drinking his wine, and Darcey's smoking and crying, and Tom is like, okay, what the hell is this again? And Darcey, you know, Florian is like, you know, Tom, or her sister is like, you know, yeah, Tom is here now, he's here now, you know, you can... You know, there's no need to cry. You don't have to cry. And, you know, this just makes Darcey wants to cry more, you know, which I can understand. And the sister is like, you know, you have your Prince Charming, your 007 there with you. And, you know, Darcey, you know, Tom cracks up at that and looks at, you know, Darcey, and Darcey's like looking at him. And then, you know, Stacey was like, just to rub it in, so, you know, it's like an open wound and you're like squeezing lemon in it. Stacey's like, and I'll be here with my beautiful model. Yeah, and, you know, at this point, Darcey takes her face off Tom and starts looking at her sister again, like, you think you're perfect, don't you? You guys aren't perfect. And, you know, Stacey and Florian is like, perfect? No, we're not perfect. We're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. They know what they're doing. So, of course, Darcey's ready, and, you know, Tom is like, Darcey, come on, yeah, what's that all about? And, you know, playing naive. And, you know, Florian is like, look, yeah, Tom is right there. Yeah, we're all a family. You know, Stacey's like, we're all a family. You know, I'm here. Florian is here. Tom is here. And, you know, Florian is like, yeah, and you're like my sister. Yeah, and Tom is here, and Tom loves you. And, you know, Darcey starts crying again. No, he doesn't. He doesn't love me. And Florian's like, yes, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. And then Tom is looking at her like, you know, because Tom is in an awkward position now. Now he has to say something. So he's like looking at Darcey like, why do you think that? Why do you think I don't love you? And, you know, I'm like, because you don't, Tom. You don't love Darcey. What's this all about? What's this trick you're about to pull? You know, and Darcey's like, but I don't feel it. You know, I don't feel it. I don't feel that you care about me. And Tom is like, so what do you expect me to do? Drop down on one knee and be like, I love you, Darcey? And, you know, that was just so extra. Yeah? And Darcey's like looking, is like, because that's not going to happen. Yeah? I'm not going to be doing that. I'm not going to be fueling this, you know, desire you have to be comforted or to be validated or whatever. I'm not going to do that for you. Yeah, he's just like so brutal. I mean, Tom can't even give her a proper compliment. Darcey is there looking for, the whole time the sister was there behaving the most way. All Tom had to do was hug Darcey, and you know, because that would have been enough, just hug her and say that, you know, you look good tonight, you know, you look so sexy. You know, look at the effort that Darcey took to stuff herself in this uncomfortable position. Yeah, you think Darcey was comfortable the whole night in that dress? She was so stuffed that the alcohol could not even be digested. It just stayed there right here in her stomach the whole time. Yeah, no wonder she got drunk so fast. So, you know, he couldn't even give this woman a compliment the whole time after all the time she took getting ready. Yeah, he's just the meanest, coldest person to Darcey. Yeah, he can't even say, all right, fine, don't tell her you love her, because we know you don't love her, but, you know, tell her you look beautiful tonight. You know, hug her, kiss her, you know, do what Dorian and Florian and whatever her name is and Stacey are doing. But Tom has been so cold. He's not affectionate with Darcey. He doesn't say any kind words, yeah, but he's quick to slice her with his words, yeah, and to pick on her with like everybody else. And that's what he's been doing the whole night. And it's really sad, you know. He's sitting there, he's basically letting Darcey know that I'm not going to do what you want. I'm not going to do anything to alleviate your fears or your insecurities that you have. Yeah, I'm not even going to budge. I'm not even going to budge an inch to satisfy whatever the needs are that you have. Yeah, you're on your own here. And you know, that's it for Darcey and Tom. You know, we'll see what happens in the next episode. I don't know, maybe Darcey will eventually wake up or something, because let's keep our fingers crossed. She woke up for what's his name, Jesse. So maybe she'll wake up for Tom, because Tom is just like a mean guy. He's just so cruel and manipulative. It's like, why do you think I don't love it? He couldn't even say, you know, because we know he doesn't love the girl, and he knows he doesn't love her, and Darcey knows it too, and Darcey's telling him, I know you don't, but he's like, why do you think you know, trying to play that whole thing that, you know, some people do, you know, being manipulative, like instead of saying, you know, that's not true, I do love you, or I care about you. It's like, why do you think I don't love you? I know that trick, guys. You know that trick. Tom knows that trick, and he's playing it on Darcey. So we hope Darcey wakes up soon, because I'm tired as well of seeing Darcey stabbed at and, you know, picked at and just taken for a fool. And we want Darcey to wake up soon. Yeah, we want Darcey to just wake up. Yeah, we need to like do a little hashtag, wake up Darcey, wake up. Yeah, wake up Darcey, wake up. So that's my recap of what happened on this episode, guys. Yeah, like I said, as I'm sitting here now, my heart is beating a bit, because it got me worked up so much. Yeah, this episode was a good one, I think, and especially Darcey's scene really got me worked up. Yeah, it got me worked up, because I'm sitting here and, you know, I'm sitting here and I'm seeing everything, and, you know, I'm not to make fun of the blind, but, you know, if the blind can listen and hear and see what's happening, and Darcey sees what's happening, she needs to stop playing naive and, you know, just call this thing a day with Tom. I'm tired of Tom. Yeah, I'm tired of Darcey and the foolishness. She needs to stop being taken advantage of. Yeah, and she needs to get that counseling she needs to get. But poor crazy Darcey. Yeah, wake up Darcey, wake up. Guys, comment below, like, subscribe, share, and thanks for watching. Bye. Tschüss.